Good morning, everybody, and afternoon, or whatever part of the world you're in. The clock tool you're not using but should be. Gmail's secret feature everyone's talking about. Protect your money with these smart, senior-friendly tips. What you really need to know about SSDs. The latest in tech news. Stay tuned for today's Tech for Seniors. This is Tech for Senior for December 1st, 2025, episode 295, closing in on episode 300. I'm Hewie Poplock, and I'll be your host today. And I'm back. Sorry. I'll be your host today. Ron's here, but he's my co-host. We do this the first show of every month to give Ron a little break and to make sure that if he shouldn't have to be here for a week, I can handle the show myself. Haven't had to do that yet, but I can do it. Anyway, this is a 1 hour show about technology with Q&A at the end. We've got something new coming up today. We haven't done it before. You know that the Tech for Senior Live on Thursdays is on vacation for the month of December. So we have instituted a new tech news feature on our show today and will be a regular for the month of December. So we're going to do it a la Thursday. We're going to do some tech news that way. And then I am going to talk about iPad as a third monitor. I found an article and it worked, and so I did a video on it. Unlocking the clock. Mike Ungerman gave us a video for today. Gmail hidden feature has users freaking out. Ron has done that video and it's gone wild. We're talking about freaking out. And then how to share a Zoom meeting summary to Word or PDF. That's from me. How to bulletproof your finances. That's also from me. And again, from me is the truth about SSDs. And then we'll end it up with the entertainment section with Mike Leaman, and then our Q&A. So it's going to be a busy day today. Lots of shorties, and we're going to be busy. I'd like to say hello quickly to everybody. Ron, are you doing all right today?
Doing fine. Just want to remind everybody that the premiere video coming up at 1/2 past the hour has 3 selections today. And Huey's going to be talking about copyright in AI. Chris Gould's going to talk about dubbing your video. And I'm going to talk about something. This is a new video. Now, most of these videos we show on the premiere version occur a year ago, but for a variety of reasons, I didn't have one. So I created a new one for you. And it's called Mastering Chromebook Files. So if you have a Chromebook and you're getting confused about how to do your Chromebook files, this is a video. So it's a new video, but we've put it in our educational series, and that will be at 1/2 past the hour, and I'll put the link in the chat.
Okay, Mike Leaman, how are things with you in Manitoba?
No, I'm in New Brunswick. Much
New
further
Brunswick.
east.
Yeah. Okay.
Pretty good. Things are great here, except we're expecting our first shovelable snow on tomorrow evening. So not looking forward to that part. But other than that, all is good.
All right, Bill James, what's new in your world? You're muted.
It's cold here finally. We've enjoyed lots of nice weather, and now all of a sudden it's turned cold. So it's 30 degrees, I believe, at the moment, which is chilly.
It's more than that. Anyway, and of course we've got Murray's with us and Mike Ungerman, who do some videos for us as well. So we need to get going here. Just a reminder, the Sarasota Technology User Group meets on Wednesday, December 1st, which is 2 days from now. And the speaker is somebody that you might have heard of. His name is Hewie Poplock. And he's going to demonstrate all different types of AI and what he's gotten as results and so on, just so you can, if you're not into AI, I'm going to try to make it so that you can see text to image, text to text to text, image to text, and all kinds of things. I'm just going to show the whole gamut of it. So we're going to have almost an hour of AI on Wednesday. And then the window SIG is Sunday, December 14th. It's not this Sunday, it's the following Sunday. And be sure to subscribe to our newsletters here at Tech for Senior, and also the WinSig newsletter and the Let's Talk AI newsletter. I want to thank the Glendora Seniors Computer Club, APCUG, and Geeks on Tour for sponsoring our newsletter for the year. And the premiere videos Ron's already mentioned, so I don't have to do that again. And I think we're ready to roll. I got to look at my let's see who's first. Oh, Ron, go ahead. We're gonna talk tech.
Welcome to Tech for Senior and our weekly news update. We've got a lot to cover, so let's jump right into the latest in technology.
This is Tech for Senior. This is our tech news of the week. This is being recorded on November the 29th for our broadcast on December the 1st. Today we have myself, Ron Brown, we have Hewie Poplock and Mike Leaman, who we're going to go over the tech news of the past week. Okay, Hewie, take it away. What's the first article?
Okay, first article is Mike.
This is something that's been in the news here recently with X accounts, or Twitter as we used to call it. People were getting quite upset, particularly with the political climate lately these days, and the fact that people were looking at X accounts and seeing them as being originating in countries other than Canada, particularly for some of the big political parties. Some of them were showing up in Germany, some of them were showing up in the US, whatever. Apparently, X has made a release that they've got some issues with their location service. And part of the problem is if one of the users of that account has logged in with an IP address from outside of Canada, it's picked that up and used that as a location. X says they're working on a fix.
Oh, interesting. Thank you, Mike.
And the next is you, Ron.
You know, Huey, we've been talking about this for years. America's most used password in 2025. Anyone got a guess what it might be?
Password,
Same as last
maybe?
year.
Password, maybe?
1, 2, 3, 4.
It's admin. ADMIN, same as last year. So come on, guys, let's get with it. Stop using simple passwords.
You know,
Remember,
it's really simple to use password for a password, but you just type it as capital P, $, $W, number 0, RD. And it, that works. And it's password, but the dictionaries won't pick it up.
The dictionaries do, because they know that trick and they've got it built in, so it's automated, so it will pick that up. No, this is Mike as well.
Just Google Maps is bringing Gemini Assistant to all navigation modes, so that now you'll be able to say along your route, you want to find, for example, a vegan restaurant that's moderately priced. And it'll say, okay, we found this one. And you can say, okay, let's stop there. So it's going to become much more conversational in using Google Maps in your vehicle.
This is a big change. And so people who do use Google Maps a lot, the material design of this is really changing a lot. So, but for the good, I think it's going to be great.
Yeah, well, I found since I got my new truck that using Google Maps is superior to the Ford navigation system because the search capability is much better. Mm-hmm. I don't have to give it a specific street address. I can say, for example, I want to find a Wendy's, and it says, well, there's 3 of them near you. Which one?
Yes. Now so we're going to talk, maybe, I don't know if we'll get to the article yet, but Apple's predicted to be the number one phone maker in 2026. And we talked about all that last Tuesday. But anyway, they're, of course, bringing out their new foldable phone. And so this is some of the information about the foldable phone. The iPhone Fold may debut with a crease-free display and sky-high price. Now, the price is coming up. I posted another article about what the potential price is, but I'm going to tell you right now, it'll be sold out, and it's going to take Apple right to the stratosphere and price is no option. I'll tell you that right now. Well, this was a bummer. This was an article just came out this morning, and this is a leak from OpenAI, secret leak. You know, you heard it first on our show, and it's preparing ads for ChatGPT. Surprise, surprise, right? So you're going to get some ads.
They're going to have to do something. They've been losing so much money
That's right.
that it's predicted they may not make it. They may end up going out of business.
Yeah, I
So
saw
they
that.
got to do something. Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder if they'll have like YouTube that has, and they'll have a premium version where you don't get the ads.
This is me. How to use the Google Chrome, that's the browser, split view. Google Chrome split view feature allows you to display two active tabs side by side within a single window, making it easier to compare pages or multitask without switching tabs. You can access this mode by right-clicking a tab and selecting split view, though you may first need to enable that feature flag in your browser settings if the option is not immediately visible. But that would be a neat feature, because I'm forever taking two tabs and making them separate so I can get them both on the screen. Google's Pixel best hardware trick isn't the camera, it's this clever feature. This article argues that the Google Pixel standout hardware feature is no longer its camera system, but rather its advanced on-device AI processing powered by the Tensor chip. This local processing enables exclusive low latency features like instant voice typing, call notes, and Magic Queue that offer speed and privacy advantages over the cloud-based competitors. Scammers are sending bogus copyright warnings to steal your X logon. Of course, X is the old Twitter. They're sending it with bogus copyright infringement notices that claim a user's account may be temporarily limited if they don't click a review details link within 24 hours. This link feeds or leads to a highly convincing but fake login page designed to steal credentials, making it essential for users to enable two-factor authentication and always check the URL of any login prompt. New chat features, voice, link groups, and smart shopping, plus fresh creative AI. This article details the latest major updates to ChatGPT, which now includes voice mode for hands-free conversations, group chats for collaboration, and a shopping research tool for streamlining product comparisons. Additionally, the piece highlights other significant AI advancements like Meta's Segment Anything model for video editing and JetBrains Matter, an AI tool for natural language code editing. Ron, this is you.
This is Google Messaging is getting a redesign, and this is going to have to do with YouTube links in the message. If people are sending you copies of the links where you can see the YouTube video in the message, that's changing. You're going to be able to read the article. It'll show you the changes that are going to be there. But if you use Google Messages, you want to read this article. I've been blown away by, honestly, Hewie, this week I've been using Nano Banana and Pro and Google Gemini Pro. I mean, I've been blown away about it. I mean, I did the newsletter this morning and was doing some graphics in it, and it's just floored me. It is so good. So the problem, of course, is everybody's recognizing that. So they're throttling back. If you have a free account, they're certainly throttling back the number of images now that you can make with Nano Banana. But I put in some text for a title article we were doing, and it got the text all perfect. It was nicely it was really good. So Nano Banana is there. It's amazing.
Yeah, I went to use it to do something today, and it said I had hit my limit. Yeah. And at 8 o'clock tonight, I could use it again.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But I was able to use my ℎ𝕝𝕄𝕃.ai account, and I could use it there.
Oh, you could use it
without a
through there.
problem.
Yeah.
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 So there are ways around it, but it's still, it's everybody's discovered it.
They have. They have. And this is what Mike already talked about. Gemini is finally they're doing that, I think. And this was the one. This is what you were alluding to earlier. OpenAI is a loss-making machine. How can it survive? And it goes on to talk about all the money it's losing. Now, people are happy to give it money, but they're also it's not making any money. Now, I have a paid account, so I'm helping. But for the rest of you who are all using it for free, I'm not sure about the future of this. This is a good article. Your old surge protectors are probably not doing anything for you. If they're over a couple of years old, get rid of them. All those old surge protectors you've got in a box that have been sitting around your house forever, throw them all out. They're not going to work. And there's no real way of testing them. You just got to bite the bullet. If you're going to use portable surge protectors like surge strips, then time to get rid of them and get new ones, or they're just not going to work. Okay.
And just so everybody knows that surge protectors, when they stop protecting you for surges, are just extension cords.
Right. That's right.
And every time you get some kind of a zap, and it can be just in your electrical system, it can be just in your electrical system where you get a little surge, it activates it, and it never gets that back. It keeps reducing the amount of protection it's going to give you each time it gets zapped. So as they get older, they've been used up, and there's no way to tell. Well, that's a sample of our Thursday show, and which is on vacation. So we're giving it to you here on Tech for Senior. And you can read the news articles all week long on our Facebook page. Okay, let's get going here with something else. And here we go. Using an old iPad as a third monitor. I'm Hewie Poplock. Today I'm going to show you how I took an older iPad Air, one stuck in iOS 12.5.7, and turned it into a fully functioning third monitor for my Windows 11 Dell XPS computer. This is a great way to repurpose an old device, get more screen space, and make your desktop setup a lot more productive. Here's everything you need. Notice that this works even on an older iPad like mine. As long as it can reach iOS 12, you're good. The secret is the app called Duet Display, which turns the iPad into an actual external monitor. The first step is on the iPad. I went to the App Store, searched for Duet Display, and installed it. Duet automatically gives you the latest compatible version for your device. So even in iOS 12.5.7, it installs without any issue. Next, I installed Duet on my Windows 11 computer. You just go to duetdisplay.com, download the Windows installer, and install it like any other program. The important part is use the same account on both devices so they can talk to each other. Now the fun part. Plug the iPad into the PC using a regular charging cable and data cable. Once I opened the Duet app on the iPad, Windows detected it right away and instantly turned the iPad into a monitor. Windows sees the iPad just like any other monitor. I went to the display settings, grabbed the little monitor icon representing the iPad, and dragged it where I wanted it. In my case, to the right of my main screen. And that's it. The iPad became my third monitor. This is where it really shines. A third screen lets me keep extra items open without cluttering my main workspace. I use the iPad screen for things like email, ChatGPT, notes, Zoom windows, or a YouTube video off to the side while I work. I also use it to show me the participants in chat in a Zoom meeting. Because the connection is wired, it's very smooth, but these tips make it even better. A good quality cable matters. The iPad can drain fast, so keep it plugged in. And inside Duet, you can change resolution or frame rate for even better performance. I originally looked at Splashtop Wired X Display, but it's outdated and unreliable on Windows 11. Duet Display just worked. And for me, reliability was the most important thing, especially since I'm using it as a third monitor, not a gimmick. So to recap, this setup was simple and surprisingly fast. Install the app on both devices, connect the cable, choose extend the display, and you're done. So if you have an old iPad lying around, this is one of the best ways to bring it back to life. It adds screen space, it improves workflow, and it works beautifully with Windows 11. And if I can get it working with an old iPad Air, anyone can. I'm Hewie Poplock. Okay, I do have to futz around with it sometimes to get it going when I want to use it, but once it works beautifully. Okay, Mike Ungerman did a video for us, and we're going to do that next. So let me go ahead and share that.
You probably look at it 100 times a day. But what if I told you the clock on your Windows 11 taskbar is hiding some seriously powerful secrets? Well, today we're going to unlock them. No, seriously, take a look down at the bottom right corner of your screen right now. You glance at that little clock all day to stay on track. But believe me, it's so much more than just a passive display of numbers. You know the drill. We see the time, we see the date, and we just move on with our day. But Microsoft has actually tucked away a surprising amount of functionality into this tiny little space. It's not just a clock, it's an interactive gateway, and we're about to walk through it step by step. Okay, so let's dive right in. How do we start finding these secrets? Well, it's way simpler than you might think. Our first reveal comes from something you already do all the time without even thinking about it: a simple hover. Go on, try it if you're at your computer. Just slide your mouse pointer over the time and date, and just let it sit there for a second. Bam! Pretty cool, right? Instantly, you get all this extra detail: the full day of the week, the month spelled out, the year, and your current time zone. That's already way more info than you see at a glance. But that hover, that's just the beginning. The real power is revealed when you take that next step, because a single click unlocks so much more. It transforms that static little piece of information into a whole interactive panel. And this is where you really see the difference. The hover view gives you the facts, which is useful for sure, but the click view, that gives you a control panel. All of a sudden, you've got your notifications, a widget to help you focus, and direct calendar access. It's a massive leap in functionality. So let's break down this new toolkit you've just opened up. At the top, you've got all your notifications, all gathered up nice and neat. Right below that, there's this really cool focus widget to help you tune out distractions. And then at the bottom, a handy calendar. But hold on. See that little arrow? That's where the real magic happens. And now, for the final reveal. That tiny little icon is the key to expanding your entire view, giving you the full picture for some quick planning, all without ever having to open a separate app. So inside that panel, just find that little upward pointing symbol. It's called a caret, and give it a click. And just like that, a full monthly calendar expands right there on your desktop. You can see the whole month, check a future date, or look back at a past one. It's just incredibly efficient. So when you put it all together, you've got the hover for details, the first click for tools, and that final click for the full calendar. What you actually have is less of a clock and more of your own little desktop command center. Exactly. So let's just redefine this thing. It isn't just the taskbar time and date. It's a mini command center. From this one tiny spot, you can manage your notifications, control your focus sessions, and get to your schedule. It's basically a productivity hub in disguise. And you know, that's the best part. None of this was buried deep in some settings menu or hidden behind a complicated keyboard shortcut. All this power was just sitting right there, in plain sight this entire time, just waiting for a curious hover and a click. It really makes you realize how much capability can be packed into the tools we use every single day, without even giving them a second thought. And it kind of makes you wonder, doesn't it? So I'll leave you with this question. What other everyday tools on your computer, or just in your life, are hiding their true potential?
Hey, Ron, we're going to turn it over to you. You've got a successful video on your hands, and let's see what it's all about.
All right, let's talk about Gmail. We're diving into some huge changes that are happening on one of the biggest email platforms in the world. We've got a pretty big AI controversy to unpack, plus some brand new, really strict rules for anyone who sends emails. Trust me, what's going on in your inbox right now is a bigger deal than you might think.
And when I say big, I mean it's just massive. We're talking about over 1.8 billion users. So you got to understand, any little tweak Google makes to Gmail isn't just a ripple, it's a tidal wave that hits a massive chunk of the entire planet.
And boy, that wave hit hard with headlines just like this one, causing all sorts of confusion and, frankly, a bit of panic online. The big claim? That Google's AI, Gemini, has been secretly digging through your private emails. So let's get into it.
First things first, let's break down the accusation itself. What are people actually claiming? And what is this tech that's at the center of the whole firestorm?
So the real heart of the issue is this. Millions of people logged in and suddenly found these powerful AI features were turned on in their accounts. Now, the problem wasn't really the features themselves. It was the feeling that it all happened without any clear heads up, without them choosing to opt in. It felt like a switch was flipped for them, not by them.
And this is where it gets really interesting. We're not just talking about your basic spam filter here. The allegation is that this AI is analyzing the actual content of your private messages to learn how you write, for things like Smart Compose. And that data, it doesn't just stay in Gmail. It's plugged into the entire Google ecosystem. But here's the real kicker. Some of that anonymized data can be reviewed by actual humans and kept for up to 3 years. And look, this isn't just a bunch of angry tweets. It has escalated all the way up to the legal system. There's a proposed class action lawsuit claiming that by turning these features on by default, Google might have actually violated California's really tough privacy laws. So yeah, this has become a very big deal.
Okay, but there are always two sides to a story, right? So now let's flip it and take a look at Google's response to these pretty serious allegations. And this slide just lays it out plain and simple. On one side, you have the claim that Google is using your private emails to train its Gemini AI and that it's secretly turned on these settings. But on the other side, Google's official line is that these reports are misleading, and they state very clearly, we have not changed anyone's settings. So, the most important point from Google is this flat-out denial. A spokesperson went on the record and said point blank that your Gmail content is not being used to train their Gemini AI model. That directly contradicts the fear that's been spreading. They argue that these smart features have been around for years, and they operate exactly as described in their privacy policy.
But you know what? This whole story is actually way bigger than just one AI controversy. While that debate was grabbing all the headlines, Google was also rolling out another massive change, one that totally rewrites the rules for anyone who sends email. Let's look at the bigger picture here.
Yep, at the exact same time all this AI drama was unfolding, Google was shifting gears and getting super serious about enforcing a tough new set of rules for email senders, especially bulk senders. This is a huge move, and it's all about trying to clean up our inboxes and fight off spam and phishing attacks. Okay, so these new rules basically boil down to 3 main things. First, authentication. Senders now need these technical things called SPF, DKIM, and DMARC. Just think of them as like a digital passport and signature that proves an email is legit. Second, infrastructure. All connections have to be secure. And third, user experience. They have to give you a simple one-click way to unsubscribe.
And this is the real game changer. Senders now have to keep their spam complaint rate, that's the number of people who actually click report spam on their emails, below 0.3%. That is an incredibly high bar. And if a sender goes over it, Gmail can just start blocking their emails completely. Period. Now, all these new rules show Google is tightening the screws on security, but it also brings up some older questions about privacy and control. To really get what groups like the Electronic Frontier Foundation, or EFF, have been saying for years about other Gmail features, you first have to understand this concept: information rights management. The easiest way to think about it is it's basically DRM, but for your email.
The EFF has been ringing the alarm about Gmail's confidential mode for a long time, saying it's misleading. And here's why. It is not end-to-end encrypted. That means Google can still read the messages. Think of it like this. A truly private message is scrambled, so only you and the other person have the key. With this, Google also has a key. It's like they're a third person in your confidential chat. And on top of that, these so-called expiring emails, they don't actually get deleted from Google servers, and the whole thing can be beaten with a simple screenshot.
So with all these changes and debates swirling around, the most important question is, what can you actually do about it? Let's walk through the concrete steps you can take to manage your own inbox and your own data.
Look, it doesn't even matter which side of the AI debate you fall on. Taking a minute to just go through your settings is always a good idea. This isn't about being paranoid, it's just about good, proactive digital hygiene. It's just smart.
All right, so if you want to opt out of these smart features, listen up, because it's a little tricky. First, you go into your Gmail settings, under the General tab, and you uncheck that main Smart Features box. But you're not done. You then have to click on Manage Workspace Smart Features Settings, which takes you to a different page where you have to turn off 2 more toggles. And you have to save your changes in both places to make sure it actually sticks.
And hey, if you're someone who sends emails for a business or a newsletter or anything like that, your checklist is just as critical. You absolutely have to get SPF, DKIM, and DMARC set up. And most importantly, you need to sign up for Google's free Postmaster tools. It's the only way you can keep an eye on that all-important spam complaint rate. Without it, you're basically flying blind.
And that brings us to the final and maybe most important question. As AI gets baked into every single tool we use, from our inboxes to our search engines, where does the responsibility for protecting our privacy actually lie? Is it on the tech giants to be more transparent, or is it on us, the users, to be more vigilant? That's a question we're all going to be wrestling with for a long time.
So just to follow up on that, I published that 2 days ago, and this morning it just tipped over 40,000 viewers. So it's definitely showing a lot of interest. I would also say if you looked at Forbes magazine this morning, the 2 major feature articles were all about exactly what I just discussed. So it is a big topic, and there's lots of discussion about this. Now, many of you are probably wondering what DKIM and all these things are. Listen, you don't have to know any of that. It won't affect you unless you're sending bulk email. But if you are sending like a bulk email out as newsletters and you're using Gmail to do that, then you really have to pay attention to these new rules. So that's it, Hewie. We're back on track. It's 9:34 and you're up. Unmute yourself.
Great video, and let's get to the next one, which is a shorty. But if you do Zoom meetings as the host, you'll find this interesting and educational. But if you don't, it's only a 2-minute video. So let's go ahead and take a look at and play. How to save a Zoom AI summary to a Word document. I'm Hewie Poplock. This is for Zoom meeting hosts. After your meeting, you want to share Zoom's AI summary with some or all of your attendees. You want to save it as a Word doc file, but to copy and paste it to a Word doc fails at formatting. Let's see what we can do about that. First, locate the summary file. Open it. Scroll all the way to the bottom. Click on Open in Docs. That opens it in Google Docs. Saving the file as a Word doc here will not do it justice. In the Google Doc file that we just opened, go to the top right. Find the three dots and click with the right mouse button. Scroll down till you find Export. Click that and you will get three choices. Choose Word, and that will export the file to a Word doc. Open your download list and click on the Word doc that you just created. You now have your Zoom AI summary in a Word doc file ready to be edited, saved, or saved as a PDF. I'm Hewie Poplock. As I said, short, but I found it, I wanted to be reminded how I did it, so I created the video. So hopefully it will help you as well. All right, so we have another one here. And let's do it next. Today we're discussing a critical topic for everyone living in the digital age: how to bulletproof your finances against modern scams. We will be looking at the specific risks involved, how to spot the signs of fraud, and the concrete steps you must take to protect your financial future. I'd like to thank the Identity Theft Resource Center for providing much of the valuable information we'll cover today. I'm Hewie Poplock. Banking has reached alarming levels. As we move more of our lives online, scammers are using advanced technology and psychological manipulation to target us. The numbers are staggering. U.S. consumers report roughly $10 billion in annual fraud losses, and there are over 2.4 million identity theft reports filed every year. But the damage isn't just financial. Victims often face months or years of credit repair, legal complications, and significant emotional distress. Understanding the threat is our first line of defense. So what exactly are they looking for? It often starts with your account number. On its own, an account number gives a scammer limited direct access, but they can use it to create fake documents or invoices to make a scam look legitimate. The danger arises significantly when they combine that with your routing number. Since routing numbers are public information tied to your bank's name, a criminal with both pieces of data can attempt to wire transfers or electronic payments. They are also hunting for online banking credentials, your username and password, which gives them total control, and your debit card details, which allows for immediate purchases. How do they get this data? We see 5 common tactics. Phishing attacks. These are fraudulent emails or texts pretending to be your bank to trick you into revealing sensitive data. Data breaches. Large-scale hacks of companies can expose your data through no fault of your own. Malware. Malicious software on your device can record your keystrokes and steal passwords. Physical theft. We can't forget the basics. Stolen wallets or mail containing checks are still a major trick. Social engineering. This is psychological manipulation. A scammer might call you pretending to be a bank staff and ask for authentication codes to verify your identity, and when they are really locking you out of your own account. Once a scammer has your information, the financial theft can be immediate. They can drain your accounts through unauthorized withdrawals or ACH transfers. If they have your account and routing number, they can even create counterfeit checks that appear to draw directly from your account. They might also set up payments for goods or services that appear to come from you or use your account for money laundering, moving funds in and out to obscure a paper trail. The speed of these transactions often means funds are gone before you even realize you've been compromised. We call this the cascading impact because one stolen number creates a ripple effect. Immediate financial loss. Emergency savings can vanish overnight, causing checks to bounce and bills to go unpaid. Credit score damage. Fraudulent accounts or unpaid debts in your name can destroy your credit rating, making it hard to buy a home or get a loan later. Long recovery. Victims often spend months or years disputing charges and closing accounts. Emotional stress. The anxiety and legal stress of proving you are a victim and not a perpetrator is significant. The damage doesn't stop at your existing accounts. Criminals can use your banking details as proof of legitimacy to open new accounts, credit cards, or loans in your name. Furthermore, if they can't use the data themselves, they will simply sell your banking details on the dark web to other criminals, multiplying the potential for fraud and identity theft. This can lead to a long-term battle to reclaim your identity. Early detection is your best defense. Watch for these red flags. Account irregularities. Look for unfamiliar deposits or withdrawals, checks you didn't write, or even small test charges you didn't make. Communication changes. If your bank statements stop arriving or you get emails about password changes you didn't initiate, take action immediately. Credit report issues. Be on the lookout for collection notices for debts you don't recognize or hard inquiries on your credit report that you didn't authorize. Preventive measures significantly reduce your risk. Here's what you should do. Use strong authentication. Enable two-factor authentication, or 2FA, on all accounts, and never reuse passwords. Monitor regularly. Check your transaction history at least weekly and set up text alerts for withdrawals. Secure devices. Keep your software updated and avoid banking on public Wi-Fi. Be skeptical. Remember, banks never ask for full passwords or PINs over the phone. If in doubt, hang up and call the number on the back of your card. Protect documents. Shred paper documents before throwing them away. If you suspect fraud, acting quickly can limit your losses. Contact your bank immediately. Call the fraud department. Close compromised accounts and request a freeze to stop further transfers. File official reports. File a police report, which is often required by banks, and report the theft to the FTC at identitytheft.gov. Document everything. Keep a written record of every call, date, name, and reference number. Save screenshots of suspicious activity. Monitor and follow up. You will need to check your credit reports regularly for months after the incident to ensure no new fraudulent accounts appear. To wrap up, banking fraud is a serious threat, but you're not helpless. By implementing strong security practices like two-factor authentication and monitoring your accounts, you make it much harder for fraudsters to succeed. Trust your instincts. If something feels off, it probably is. Take action today. Review your security settings and set up those account alerts. Your financial security is worth the few extra minutes. Thank you. I'm Hewie Poplock. The truth about SSDs. Stop doing this immediately. I'm Hewie Poplock. This presentation explains why certain software utilities, especially older optimization tools, can dramatically reduce the lifespan of a solid-state drive. SSDs are incredibly fast and durable, but they behave very differently from the traditional hard drives. Today we'll look at the software that causes the most wear and how that wear happens and what you can do to keep your SSD healthy for years. To understand why some tools are harmful, we first need to understand how SSDs age. SSDs use flash memory cells, and each cell has a limited number of writes it can handle. Modern SSDs use smartware leveling to spread writes out, but excessive or unnecessary writes still speed up wear. We'll also look at something called write amplification, when the SSD ends up writing much more data internally than you intended. High write amplification is one of the biggest contributors to early SSD wear. These are the three major types of software that generate unnecessary write activities. These tools were designed in the era of spinning hard drives and do not help SSDs at all. In fact, many of them silently perform large amounts of background writing that you never see. We'll explore defrag tools, aggressive indexing, and real-time backup utilities. Next, we look at the PC optimizer category. These utilities promise faster performance, but their techniques, registry cleaning, temp file purging, and RAM manipulation often cause more harm than good. Windows already manages these areas efficiently, and third-party tools usually increase SSD writes while offering little or no real improvement. On SSDs, these operations can shorten drive life over time. Even built-in Windows features can create write activity that affects SSD longevity. System restore and shadow copies save large snapshots, while older features like superfetch and prefetch produce constant small writes. Some features are useful, some are legacy leftovers, but all of them contribute to write volume. Understanding these features helps you make smarter decisions about configuration. This slide puts the issue in perspective. A typical 500 gigabyte SSD might be rated for about 150 terabytes of writes. That's plenty for normal use, but the wrong software tools can multiply write volume by 3 to 5 times, dramatically shortening lifespan. Running several of these utilities together over a period of years can reduce SSD longevity by as much as 70%. This is why minimizing unnecessary writes matters. Fortunately, protecting your SSD is simple. Modern SSDs include advanced firmware that handles internal optimization automatically. No special utilities required. Monitoring SSD health should be done with safe tools provided by the manufacturer or trusted diagnostic apps. and maintenance activities like cleanup and backups are best done on a schedule instead of running continuously in the background. This slide highlights the practical configuration changes you can make to reduce daily write volume. Disabling hibernation prevents large multi-gigabyte writes every time your system powers down. Reducing browser cache writes or moving the cache to RAM helps limit constant background writing. And relocating temporary folders to a secondary hard drive, if you have one, keeps high churn temporary data away from your main SSD. Despite everything discussed so far, it's important to keep the bigger picture in mind. Modern SSDs are much more durable than people think. Most consumer SSDs last far beyond their rated write endurance, often 3 to 10 times longer in real-world tests. Most cases, your SSD will become outdated long before it wears out. The goal is simply to avoid extreme or unnecessary write behaviors. So to wrap up, never run disk defragmentation tools on an SSD. Avoid aggressive cleanup, registry, and optimizer utilities that generate extra writes. Adjust Windows features like hibernation, system restore, and page file settings when appropriate. Trust the SSD's own internal optimization systems. They are extremely efficient. Following these practices ensures your SSD will remain fast, healthy, and long-lasting. Okay, and next I will have, probably next week, another article on SSDs and why you should have them plugged in and don't just store them somewheres. And we'll talk about that next time. Ron, I think it's time for us to say goodbye to the people who are watching us on YouTube and move on to our next section. So I'll let you handle that and we'll be back.
Okay, welcome to the Entertainment Corner. So notable events in music and entertainment for December the 1st. So let me see, I'll just share my screen so you can see what's going on here. Press the right buttons. And I want to share this one. Okay, so notable events in music and media milestones, 1983. Sorry about that. Thriller premieres. The groundbreaking 14-minute music video for Michael Jackson's Thriller made its premiere on MTV, forever changing the scope and ambition of the music video medium. 1971, an enduring Christmas classic, John Lennon and Yoko Ono released the holiday anthem, Happy Christmas, War is Over in the US. It had been released previously a year earlier in the UK. 1976, the infamous Sex Pistols interview. The Sex Pistols appeared on UK's TV Today show, substituting for Queen. Provoked by the interviewer, Bill Grundy, the band members used profanity on live early evening television, creating a massive scandal that catapulted punk into the national spotlight. In 1968, Janis Joplin made her final concert appearance with her band, Big Brother and the Holding Company, at the Family Dog Concert Hall in San Francisco before launching her solo career. 1957, a major night for rock and roll on television as three iconic acts made their debut on The Ed Sullivan Show: Buddy Holly and the Crickets, Sam Cooke and the Rays. 1956, one of the earliest rock and roll movies, The Girl Can't Help It, opened in America, featuring performances from legends like Little Richard, Fats Domino, and Gene Vincent. Some notable birthdays for December 1st. Bette Midler, 1945, the acclaimed singer and actress known as the Divine Miss M. Richard Pryor in 1940, groundbreaking and influential comedian and actor. Lou Rawls, Grammy Award-winning singer, known for his soulful voice and hits like You'll Never Find Another Love Like Mine. Jaco Pastorius, 1951, legendary and innovative jazz fusion bass player. John Densmore, drummer for the iconic rock band The Doors. Mary Martin, 1913, a Broadway icon, star of the original South Pacific and Peter Pan. Brad Delson, guitarist for the band Linkin Park. And Janelle Monáe, acclaimed singer, songwriter, and actress. So this week's prime pick of the week is a true story, Raising the Bar, the Alma Richards story. It's a 2025 movie, currently streaming on Amazon Prime. It's the story of an 8th grader who in 1908 quit school. He doesn't see point in going when he could be working as a ranch hand. However, a chance encounter with a Michigan State professor sets Alma back on the road to education, which in turn leads him to more than he's dreamed of, including a trip to the Stockholm Olympics, competing in the high jump for Olympic gold. And it's a great movie. It's, like I say, a true story. And I know we sure enjoyed it here. I hope you will too. So we'll play that trailer and we'll follow it up with today's music selection, Bette Midler and the Boogie Woogie Bugle Boy. And I'll post these in the chat, so if anybody wants to grab them before the newsletter comes out, and I'll stop my share and take it away, Ron.
Great,
and that's
great
this
music.
week's Entertainment Corner.
Very entertaining. Okay, it's time for us to go into the Q&A. We're running a couple of minutes over, but well worth it today. We had a lot of good information.